and I think we've got a lot of the right people at the table, and we're doing everything we can to reach out to anyone who might have information on the area to help us develop our recommendations. So we're just super excited to get going, super excited to see everyone here that's tuned in.
So if I might, Jim, we've got a number of folks who know each other and some that do not. So I was going to go down the list of our attendees and ask everyone to introduce themselves and let us know what agency they represent. You cool with that?
Sure. Do you want us to introduce ourselves first, or?
Sure.
Okay, that's where I was going. So yeah, so my name is Jim Danfowich, Managing Director for DKS Sacramento, and we were selected to help SJCOG and you folks prepare this study. And I have a lot of history with Roth Road. I managed the traffic analysis for the UP Lathrop Intermodal Facility, EIR. We've done a lot of work on a regional basis, assisting SJCOG on numerous programs of theirs that have obviously included Roth Road. So just echoing what Ryan said, I'm very excited to be a part of this and have DKS be a part of it. We're not the only firm on our team. We are also joined by Mark Thomas and Company, who they're not attending this particular stakeholder group, but they probably will for later ones. And with that, I'll pass it over to Kendall Flint.
Thanks, Jim. I'm Kendall Flint. I'll turn on my camera. I'm trying to preserve bandwidth today, but yeah, I'm director of Regional Director of Community Engagement and Strategic Planning for DKS Associates, and I'll be working with the team managing the public engagement. We've got some cool things to show you today, and again, we're very excited about all of you that made time to attend today's meeting. If there are other folks that you think we should have included or you think we need to have some outreach to, please feel free to email me. We'll be sharing contact information at the end, but we want to make this as robust and broad of an outreach program as we can. And I'll tag Sean. I'm sorry, I will tag Sean.
Thanks, Kendall. So my name is Sean Carney, also with DKS, and I am part of the project technical team that will be working on the traffic analysis for this project in evaluating various alternatives and options that are developed through the process.
And I also want to introduce Crystal Chavez, and some of you may have been hearing from Crystal. No, she's not a stalker. She was trying to get you here to attend the meeting. But Crystal will be updating and maintaining our stakeholder database. So again, please feel free to reach out to her. And Crystal, thank you so much for getting a great group for us.
Of course. And thank you for replying, everyone. Thank you for joining.
Okay, so with that, I'm going to go to the top of the list and work my way down. I apologize if I don't get your name right, because some of you have a name on here and some of you just have an email address. But Betty Wilson, welcome.
Hi, thank you. We're excited. Betty Wilson. I'm the Executive Director with the Business Council, San Joaquin County. This is an important area for our businesses and for our community and economic development. So I'm happy to be part of some of the solutions. Thanks.
Awesome. L.N. Tully, I think I got your email this week.
Yeah, I don't, can you hear me?
We can hear you, sir. Thanks for being
Okay,
here.
yeah, I'm Lou Tallarico, and I live at the end of Roth Road, so I'm very interested in the study and delighted to see that it's being initiated.
Well, thank you, sir. Bill Barnhart.
Hi, I'm Bill Barnhart. I live in the Del Webb community at has Airport Road on the west side of it. We're probably the closest residential community to the east end of Roth Road, with 1,426 homes here, and many of us use Roth Road daily. And we're very much in favor of this study going forward. Also, I've been here 14 years and highly involved in both the Centerpoint development as well as the proposed expansion of UP, which hasn't actually happened yet. But we're all very much interested in this study. We've also developed a committee here called Advocates for Improving Manteca. AIM is our acronym. And in any way at all that our AIM group might be able to assist in that, we're more than welcome to call on us.
Great, thank you so much for being here. Juan Villanueva.
Thank you. Juan Villanueva, Port of Stockton, Development and Planning.
Awesome. Kara DeHurst. I'm sorry if I said that right. Dewhurst.
There, I'm Kara Dewhurst, and I'm an environmental planner with Anchor QEA, and we are working on some projects in the area. So we thought we would join, and we're happy to be here.
Great. Kirk DeJesus.
Good afternoon, Kirk DeJesus, Executive Director of the Port of Stockton.
Okay, and let's see as I'm moving down my thing here. Brent Dodd.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to do kind of a blanket introduction. I'm Director of Corporate Communications for Delicato Family Wines on the 99 side. There's a couple of us from here. So Marie Matthews is on here. She's one of the family members that helps run our tasting room. And then Steve Harem is also on here, who is sort of our outside counsel that helps guide us on things. But we're very much interested. As you know, we have a large production facility on the 99 side, and just anything that has to do with trucks and how things move in and out around Manteca. We always want to keep our pulse on and play a role in sort of the decisions. So we're excited to be on and invited.
Thank you so much. And Marie, I want to get to know you as soon as possible. That's a tasting room. Maybe we can have a meeting there. Okay, Dan D.
Thank you very much. This is Dan Dickinson. I'm the Senior Project Manager for the Army and Air Force Exchange Service. We have a West Coast distribution center on Sharp Army Depot. It borders on the north side Roth Road, south side Lathrop. Our main point of entrance is on Roth Road. So we're very interested in the Roth Road improvements because that is I think the only STAA rated interchange at the 5 freeway. The Army and Air Force Exchange Service, just for a quick background, we're a non-appropriated funded instrumentality for the Department of Defense. We support the military members across the world. This West Coast Distribution Center actually supplies not only the West Coast, the westerly part of the United States, but it also goes overseas to Alaska, to Hawaii, to Korea, Kwajalein, Japan. So it actually has a far-reaching effort for us to support the military members. How we do that is we provide the retail element on the installations worldwide, so they can get a piece of home when they're overseas, when they're actually at we call it the tip of the spear, when they're over there trying to protect our interest overseas. Thank you for including us on this.
Oh, we appreciate you having the time to join us. So thank you so much. I want to go with, Kim, Kusun Kim.
Yeah, Kusun Kim, City of Manteca. I'm a Deputy Director of Engineering. I'm glad to join this meeting today.
Okay, nice to hear from you. Michael King.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is Michael King. I am with the City of Lathrop. I am the Public Works Director, and I too am excited to take on the Roth corridor improvements.
Awesome. Michael Shami.
This Michael Shami. I'm a Senior Transportation Engineer with San Joaquin County Public Works, and I'm excited to be part of the team, and thank you so much.
Thank you. Najeez Arif.
Yes, hi, good afternoon, everyone. Najeez Arif, the Deputy Director of Engineering for San Joaquin County Public Works. Thank you.
Okay, now let's see, have I missed any? Marie, do you want to say hi? I know that.
I think Brent covered it all, but thank you. Yes, good to be here.
All right, and then City of Manteca Development Services.
JD Hightower, Deputy Director for the Development Services Department, in charge of planning. Looking forward to getting this project going.
Okay, and the last thing I see is the phone number. I don't want to give the whole thing out, but the last 4 digits are 3159.
Hi, thank you. This is Katie Chamberlain with Anchor QEA. I'm an environmental planner. I work with Kara Dewhurst, who introduced herself a bit ago.
Cool. All right, have I missed anybody that didn't have an opportunity?
You missed Jeff Levers.
Oh, Jeff. How can I miss Jeff? Sorry. Jeff?
There we go. Do I got unmute? Yeah. I'm Jeffrey Levers with San Joaquin County. I'm a traffic engineer and transportation planner. So excited to be looking at this after many, many years.
Okay, is there anyone else that has not introduced themselves?
Hi, this is Bob Gutierrez from the San Joaquin Partnership. I just logged on. Sorry I'm late.
No, that's fine. We're so happy to have you be here with us. So thank you so much for making the time. So I'm going to pop this back over to Jim, and he's going to walk us through the meeting.
Sure. So I just want to point out again, this is a partnership. SJCOG is administrating the contract and the work, but it is a partnership involving San Joaquin County, the city of Lathrop, and the city of Manteca. So I just want to recognize the key project partners, and of course, all you stakeholders making up the stakeholder group is a key part of this project as well. So, next slide. So our key project goals are there's three of them, and one is to identify a transformative package of improvements. And so what does that mean, transformative? We all know and recognize that there's some real operational issues associated with Roth Road and the surrounding area, primarily involving freight and rail operations, as well as the everyday mobility of the citizens that use Roth Road on a daily basis, and other roadways, which we'll point out in a second. But so it's mainly to identify a prioritized system of improvements to make freight and rail operations operate better along Roth Road and the surrounding areas. As a result of that, if we can achieve it, another goal is to divert unwanted truck traffic off of Lathrop Road, Louise Avenue, and to a certain extent Airport Way, to help facilitate the city of Lathrop and the city of Manteca and the county to have those roadways function more safely, and particularly for Louise and Lathrop Road, to have those streets become more complete streets and more multimodal in nature. We all recognize that a strong presence of STA-sized trucks using those facilities is conflicting with the multimodal aspects that those roadways provide the two cities and the public that uses those. So that's another goal. And then last but not least is to examine a way to actually implement the projects that we'll be identifying. And that would be through a formation of a joint powers authority involving the three local agencies, the county, the city of Lathrop, and the city of Manteca, to develop a program to help fund the identified improvements, and to allow SJCOG and these three entities to be more competitive to go after state and federal funds. If there's a local source of funding that can be used for a match, that's always a big plus in the eyes of state and federal officials who review competitive grant programs. So it's really kind of a synergistic effect in terms of getting money. You got to have money to get more money. And that definitely is true in the transportation funding world. So those are the three key objectives. And then I would say, there's a lot of pending improvements. This corridor has several plans that have been performed that are moving improvements forward. One is the Harlan Road realignment project that's associated with the I-5 Roth Road interchange project, which is currently ongoing. We've mentioned the Sharp Depot in Stockton Port. There's improvements there. I mentioned the UP Lathrop intermodal site expansion project, and it's correct, that hasn't really started in earnest yet, but there's environmental clearance for that expansion. It's going to happen, and it's going to add a significant number of new additional trucks on the system. So if you think things are kind of bad out there right now, it's going to get worse, and that's why this study is happening now. And then, some other projects that either are, they're in a planning document, but they may not be programmed or have an identified funding source. There's a possibility of pushing Roth Road, extending it out to Highway 99. if possible. And that way, Roth Road or an extension thereof can not only access I-5, but also State Route 99. Those are the national network SEA routes. And that connection with 99, particularly heading south on 99, is the key reason why Lathrop Road and Louise Avenue and others find themselves seeing a lot of truck traffic because they're just filtering down, trying to access 99 instead of heading up north to French Camp and doubling back. And then there's also the interchange improvements at I-5, Lathrop Road and Louise Avenue. So this study is recognizing those efforts. We'll be pivoting off of those efforts and identifying other improvements that we can do to make the flow of truck traffic more efficient, get them where they should be and not on roadways through the cities of Lathrop or Manteca, and just have more direct routing. And we also, if you can stay on that slide real quick, I won't belabor the point. There are two at-grade rail crossings on Roth Road. There's the Fresno subdivision and then the Stockton Oakland subdivision. Both those are at grade, and grade separation is something we're looking seriously at for both those locations if it's possible. And so just want to point that out, that the freight and rail coordination and operations does create issues on Roth Road, as we all know. And so those are key improvements we'll be looking at as well. Okay.
So we're going to move forward in a moment here to our discussion, but I wanted to make sure that everyone had information about sort of some of the outreach tools that we're using. We have established a project website called rothroadcorridorstudy.com. And that should be, we hope, linked to all of your websites. So following the meeting today, I'll be sending everybody on this call a link to the art for the Roth Road Improvement Project, and also have a link to the website. And we would really appreciate it if you could put that on your website so that we can obviously get more participation for folks within the corridor area. And on this site, you're also going to see what's called a social pinpoint site. And this is a really good tool that allows all of us to share and identify key issues, concerns, or opportunities within the project area. The site is bilingual, so it will translate to Spanish for anyone that wants to access it that way. And it allows you, using a Google Map interface, to go to a specific intersection or a crossing or a grade crossing or whatever it is. You can attach photos, but you can also mark the specific things that you either have a concern about or that you would like the study team to look into. We're going to be pushing this out to all of our partner agencies as well as stakeholders in the community. So certainly we're looking forward to the wineries, Amazon, the chambers, all of our economic development partners, as well as trucking interests, to share this information widely so we can get as much as possible. The good news about this, which I like to say, it takes the place of the old-fashioned map on the table with the sticky notes. It automatically embeds the comment, and then we're able to cross-reference those with the specific technical studies that the project team will be taking on. This site will remain up through the duration of the project, and it will give us the ability to report out to this group and to others as we move forward. So again, please, please, please promote rothroadcorridorstudy.com and go visit us, and be sure to take a spin on Social Pinpoint. And with that,
I'll just butt in real quick. But yeah, so that interactive web-based mapping tool, Kendall, do you think at some point we can give them a look at that?
So what I'm going to suggest is that, Jim, if you move forward with the discussion, I'll take off the screen so people can see each other. And then when we get to the end, I'll have that up as something we can look at.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to give everybody a heads up that, yeah, we'll give you a little demonstration how this works. It's really easy to use. It's really fun. And probably the most important thing, it allows you to geo-reference all your comments. So if there's a particular intersection, if there's a particular driveway that, there's safety concerns or things that you've experienced yourself or others, you just go in, you zoom in, just like a Google map. You can zoom in as much as you want, and place a comment at that specific location and provide a comment. And these geo-reference comments are a gold mine for the technical team, because it really helps us zero in on where the perceived issues are, because we're going to do our technical analysis, and our tools, we think they're great, but sometimes we know they're not perfect, right? So we like to cross-reference what our technical studies are saying are issues or problems with what we hear from you, the stakeholders, as well as the public. And that's another thing that makes this a really valuable tool, is that it makes it much easier for the public to provide input. So one of the key roles of a stakeholder for this project is to get the word out, let your constituencies know that this resource is available, and that the more input we get, the better. So.
Okay, so at this point, we had hoped we'd be able to go around the horn, so to speak, with discussions of key issues. And so, Jim, do you want to, should we just start from the top and see what concerns people have?
Yeah, we wanted this to be an interactive discussion. We have a great turnout, roughly 20 people. So I just want to make sure everybody has an opportunity to provide input, and we can just go around robin, and we'd love to hear what your key concerns are, what you would like to see come out of this project. So it doesn't necessarily have to be what issues you feel the corridor and the project area faces, but some of the improvements that you would like to see us examine or consider.
So with the group's concurrence, what I'd like to do is kind of, as we did before, go through and call on everybody that's here. And then if those of you, I think we've all been to a Zoom meeting or 100 in the last year. So if you do have a comment, just so we cannot punch over ourselves, the raise hand function is at the bottom of your screen. I think you should know there's also a chat function. This is an open regular meeting as opposed to webinar, so you're not going to be booted or cut off quickly. So Dan D, I see your hands up first, so why don't we start out with you?
Thank you very much. Trying to get my video on here. Hopefully you guys can see me. Nice to meet everybody. Thank you very much. So with the Army and Air Force Exchange Service, I'm not sure if it's on everybody's radar, but right now we're forced to go out Roth Road. So we're adding all of our minimal truck traffic. I think we have about maybe 100 truck trips every day going out onto Roth Road. We are looking for an opportunity to, since we're closer to Lathrop Road, is to go out that area. So if there is any rebalancing needed for any truck traffic on within the area, we can help out by basically going out to Lathrop Road. But right now in the current political atmosphere, the city of Lathrop wants to restrict traffic onto Lathrop Road. I think it's there is more residential on that area, which makes sense to me, but that would be something that might be able to help solve some of the issues, especially with Amazon and some of the other things that you guys mentioned. We're going to be going adjacent to Roth Road. Thank you for your time.
I mentioned this to the other folks. Thank you for that. But a quick nod. If anyone here has contacts at Amazon, they want me to sign up for a warehouse job, and I'm just trying to get a contact at the distribution center. So if you know anybody, please share. Okay, so let's go to Bob's iPhone.
Hi, this is Bob. Thank you, Bob Gutierrez from the partnership. No, we're really excited about the project. I think it would be great to get that congestion out of there and really help with the business growth that's in that area, especially Sharp Depot and the others that are out there. So glad to see everything moving forward, and let us know how we can help.
Okay, Michael Shemi.
I don't have comments now. Thank you.
Okay, Heather.
Hi, I'm with the Army Air Force Exchange Service, and Dan was kind of our spokesperson, and so I don't have anything additional from what he mentioned. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Bill Barnhart, I see your hands up.
Just a little bit of what's happening right now regarding that Lathrop entrance into the AFIS exchange area. The city of Lathrop recently approved a project on the south side of Lathrop Road that would connect where that exit from the AFES would be. But they refused, several of us from Manteca went to the Lathrop City Council meeting trying to get the city to agree to put a traffic signal in there. And they refused. City of Lathrop refused, even though there's going to be, I don't know, 50 truck trips or more a day coming out of that from the south side onto Lathrop Road. And, you know, they're going to have to turn left to go over to McKinley to then go south. And that's going to make it very difficult. But if there's some pressure could be levied on the city of Lathrop to put a traffic signal in there, that would be a big step towards what the Army Air Force Exchange is looking for there, as far as their own truck traffic. Other things of interest, I come from Bakersfield, and down in Bakersfield, where we have a lot of grade separations, they chose to do underpasses. They're a lot cheaper than overpasses, and they don't require as much property. And actually, the city of Stockton has a considerable number of underpasses as well, where they haven't had to supplant businesses to put them in. So I would be looking to, you know, investigation of utilizing underpasses at those two grade separations on Roth Road. And then last but not least, and I seem to be in a very minority on this, the extension of Roth Road, I feel, needs to swing northward rather than southward like the Manteca mayor wants. To me, it seems logical to swing it north and tie into French Camp at Union Road is one possibility. The other is at French Camp, although that would necessitate giving up a little bit of the winery property. But Union Road is definitely an alternative, and I think that would still be a viable solution for those trucks wanting to head southbound on Highway 99. Those are my ideas at the present time.
Okay, I'm looking forward to hearing more from you later, Bill. Thanks so much for sharing. Let's go to Kara.
Oh, no comment at this time, thanks.
Okay, Brent.
Sorry, give myself on mute. I'm no comment from me at this time. I think we're just kind of here to listen. I'll pitch it over to Steve if he has anything he wants to jump into. I think we're just just intro call and just glad to be on the phone.
Yeah, Brent, this is Steve Harum. I'm an attorney, a land use attorney representing the Delicato interests. And I think preliminarily we would have two thoughts to share with the group. One is that we are very concerned about the growth of residential projects in and around and adjacent to the winery property. And we would point out that you have at least two major industries out there. The Delicato winery is the 5th largest winery in the United States. And next to it is the George Perry operation, which is the largest exporter of melons in the world. And they generate a great deal of traffic year round. And they also have harvest seasons that adjoin each other. So for a significant period of time, you have a large number of trucks traveling to each of those facilities. And the introduction of increased residential traffic and the idea of having bike lanes in the lot needs to be studied as part of this. And I don't want to lecture the traffic engineers, but I've always found that whether you use the vehicle miles traveled or the LOS system, neither of those capture the potential for health and safety issues with the interaction of heavy industrial trucks and residential vehicles. And in some manner, those sort of problems need to be measured and studied and evaluated in a manner that creates protection for all concerned. If we're just looking at congestion, it's not going to meet the major problem out there, which is the incompatibility of industrial and manufacturing trucks with a large number of residential. I'd also be interested to know the thoughts of the planners preparing this study of how they're going to deal with the fact that one of their partners, Manteca, is currently updating its general plan. In addition to that, strangely, and something that I've never seen in 40 years of working in development projects, is allowing two massive projects, residential projects, to go forward contemporaneously with the general plan that will have significant effects on Roth Road, and how they intend to deal with the fact that one of their partners is approving large residential projects while they're stopping to try to study what to do long-term in terms of Roth Road.
This is John. I'd like to respond to a couple of those comments, and they're great ones. Just talking about safety, there will be a safety analysis performed as part of this study, and that's, you know, not using LOS or VMT, which were or CEQA metrics. VMT now, not LOS, but LOS is still important in many general plans. But this will be a full safety analysis, and I think the issue you're probably speaking to is what we call systemic safety, where there's infrastructure characteristics in areas that at least historically don't show or may not have a lot of collision history, but there are locations with that exact same type of infrastructure characteristics where there is a lot of collision history. And so we'll be looking at that and looking at, you know, this location who has, you know, that has a lot of the same characteristics in terms of infrastructure and interaction with traffic has resulted in a lot of collision history. You know, we'll look at system-wide where those same infrastructure characteristics exist. And we know that the growth is coming, and is it kind of an issue just waiting to happen? And that's what we call systemic safety analysis. It's more proactive than reactive, which is historically the way safety's been done. You know, you look at your collision history and you look at hot spots and you try to solve problems that, you know, there's already been a above average number of collisions, serious injury or fatality. So we will be doing that for this study. So safety will be looked at explicitly. So that's one thing. And then getting back to the residential development, we are going to be forecasting traffic, and part of that will be looking at the full build out of the residential projects that you mentioned for the city of Manteca, also the city of Lathrop, and also the county for the unincorporated areas. So the forecasting that will be done for this study will be unique. It won't be the same kind of forecasting that, for instance, the San Joaquin Council of Governments does for the regional transportation plan. We are looking at kind of full build out conditions of these three jurisdictions. So ostensibly, we should see what the implications of that growth is on the roadway network.
Thank you for those comments. I don't want to belabor this point, I apologize, but I'd be interested to understand a little bit about the methodology of how, not at this time, but sometime in the future, of how you are going to project future health and safety, traffic circulation issues with growth which has not yet been approved in the area. And we have not even determined the design of a Roth road. It seems to me there are a lot of moving parts and variables in order to accomplish that analysis. And I'd be curious to understand that a little bit more. And I'd also express a concern that are you looking at the build out in the current Manteca general plan, in the draft general plan? Are you taking into account these projects that the city, for reasons that defy logic, are allowing to jump ahead of a general plan and in some ways contradict the proposed general plan? I've never been in this situation as a land use attorney, and I'd like a little better understanding, not today, but at some point, of what baseline you're going to use of what your assumption is with a current general plan, a proposed general plan, and some projects trying to jump ahead of the new general plan through the old general plan.
Yeah, we will document all our growth assumptions, and yeah, we can. I'll be happy to explain the nuances of those assumptions as they come in, and as well as the safety analysis. So
yeah, and perhaps also the mitigation measures you might want to impose on those pending residential projects in front of the new general plan of how you would legally impose any mitigation measures to reduce health and safety issues from those subdivisions if they're approved before this report is completed.
Yeah, well, keep in mind, this is not a CEQA certification document we're preparing. This is a study, but we will justify all the improvements that are recommended by the study based on the analysis and the performance measures that we apply, as well as the input we hear from the public and the stakeholders.
Yeah, I understand, but certainly you would agree with me that this study would provide substantial evidence as to the intensity and magnitude of the traffic impacts of both the general plan and these new projects.
It could, yep, that's the hope.
Okay, Mr. Tallarico.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. I don't use Zoom that much. I
You're
would
doing
like
great.
to just, okay, good. You know, on this extension of Roth Road, which may in essence remove my house, naturally, I'm kind of interested in that. But kind of like what Bill said, if there is an extension of Roth Road, should it go to the north and tie into French Camp Road, or should it go, you know, south of the winery? And I think that's really a very important question for all the planners in the area to deal with. So whatever insights could come out of this study, I think would be much appreciated by everyone. And then another comment I had was, and you know, with the information you presented, it looks just great. But yesterday I made a note, we'd like it when it's done to be such that the truckers love it. They love it so much that they'll use it and they won't go on these other roads that we don't want them to use. And then the other comment I would make is that all the agencies, I hope we're able to get an understanding in all of the agencies so they'll understand that everyone could really benefit from this. We all know there's a lot of growth going on in the area, and it's a beautiful opportunity to try to ensure that it's done right, have the residential, as Mr. Harum comments, where it should be, and have the industrial and other areas. And based on what I've heard today, I'm even more excited than I was before about this study. So keep it up.
Well, thank you. Let's see, Juan Villanueva, Port of Stockton.
Thank you. Our concern is, or just in general, would like what the schedule is for the study, and just to be generally included, like we are in the stakeholder meetings, and just keep the information flowing.
Okay, thank you. Kirk DeJesus.
No, nothing to add other than what Juan mentioned. Thank you, though.
Okay.
And Ken, I'll just a quick response to the Port of Stockton. It's roughly a 12-month schedule, and we're going to be showing the schedule a little bit later after this discussion. So.
Thank you.
So let's see, who have I've not heard from at this point. 3159.
That's Katie. I'm actually just kind of taking it all in as well. I agree with some of the comments made earlier and questions posed, but appreciative to the responses. Thank you.
So I think a number of our other participants in this call today are representatives from the agencies, Manteca, et cetera. Would any of you like to weigh in on some things? We could start with Jeff Hightower at City Manteca.
Hi, JD Hightower, just looking looking forward and to listening to everyone and exchanging ideas and listening to everyone's concerns and developing a plan that can accommodate all users. And that's what really Roth Road corridor, whether it goes to 99, it needs to be a complete street. And how to best develop a complete street is really looking forward to everyone's input and insights and expertise.
Jeff, would you like to weigh in on behalf of the county?
Sure. Only thing I really have to add that I'm excited about as the outcome here is I'm really looking forward to the idea of the JPA at the end. I have had a difficult time in the past having to explain as the county's lead transportation planner why certain various policies, either Lathrop's policies or the North Lathrop fee or Manteca's planning, how and why that affects some of our county properties, especially along the north side of Roth Road. And I just think it's a great thing to be able to come together, have one united front between both cities and the county. And that way we are all giving consistent answers towards a consistent policy and a consistent plan. It'll just make, I think, all of our lives at our government agency so much easier down the road.
Okay. Let's see. Kusun?
Yes, the city of Manteca will continue to collaborate with the stakeholders to find the optimum solutions. So we are very excited. We appreciate the transparent process throughout the ongoing meetings. I'm pretty sure that we are going to find the good optimum solution throughout this process. Thank you.
Thank you. Najee, did you want to add anything from your perspective?
Thank you, Kendall. Yeah, so Jeff did point out one of the key things we do want to do here at the county is identify, not only improvements that can be delivered, but also things that a process where we can all be on the same page between the different jurisdictions in terms of how we can contribute towards those improvements. I did also want to just maybe echo some of the sentiments that Mr. Harum made. I mean, one of the concerns that we have as a county is that there's a number of developments that are going on where we end up with sort of industrial traffic or traffic from industrial uses that are mixing with residential uses, and so we want to identify infrastructure that will improvements that will avoid that interaction as much as we can. So whether that's industrial going next to residential properties or residential properties coming into next to industrial properties, existing industrial development, we do want to make sure that we are trying to avoid that mix, because they are typically incompatible, and we get a lot of issues that come out of that. So excited about this and ready to see what we can do to try and balance all these needs and address this corridor.
Okay, Bill, I see you've got your hand raised again.
I just wanted to add a comment because Mr. Hearn's comments brought something to mind relative to safety and bike paths. Along Airport Way, where that whole Center Point development is, there was originally supposed to be, the bike path was supposed to be accommodated by a wide sidewalk. That didn't happen, so they ended up putting a bike path along the side of the Airport Way, which has 45 to 55 mile an hour cars traveling alongside of that bike path. Extremely dangerous. I would strongly urge that any extension of Roth Road in whichever direction it goes, it needs to have a bike path, but that needs to be up on the sidewalk, preferably even with some kind of little wall or something between it and the street, much the way they do it on Herndon Avenue down in Fresno. That's a great example of the proper way to do a bike path on a 55 mile an hour street. So anyway, that was another comment I felt was necessary to be made.
Okay, Ryan, did you want to add anything before we move on to our next slides?
Oh, just I appreciate the notes, and we'll have a look at what's going on in Herndon in Fresno.
Okay. I'm going to share my screen again. Before I do that, I think it'll be easier to go this way. Give me 1 second here. Share screen. As Jim was mentioning earlier, can everyone see my screen now? Roth Road Improvement Study.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay, so this is the website we were talking about. And basically there's a link on here that allows you to go to the online comment map. And as Jim was saying, once you get there, you're able to click on it. And my mouse, by the way, hates me, and sometimes it does weird things. If I go the wrong way, it's just operator error. It's not the system. The directions and everything are already here. And again, they're both in English and in Spanish. So when you come into the area, you're able to really go very deep into a very specific place. And then you can drop a comment wherever that might be, like here's at 99, and it'll open up a small window that allows you to put that comment in. And if, for example, you've got images that you want to share, maybe it's poor access for vehicles going in and out of driveways, or it's just congestion, you can do that as well. And then you're also able to work throughout the project area. We have improvement suggestions, making a comment or something you like. And it does take in the entire, kind of going the wrong way, it takes in the entire, here it goes, area in general. As you can see, we do have the whole piece in there. People will be able to see comments as they come on, so you can take a look whenever you feel like it to see what people are commenting on. And this also has, of course, contact information for myself. So if anyone has a question or wants to get more information, they can do that. And then it has very basic information about the project itself. And as Jim's mentioned, again, the value of this is so great because it connects in a geospatial way to the technical analysis and really allows us to be efficient with it. So again, for all of you that have the ability to push the website and others through your agencies, we greatly appreciate you doing that and hope you will take the time to do that going forward. We're going to talk a little bit about the schedule next. And full disclosure, I was notified at the beginning of the meeting that the schedule got a little bit twisted, but we will repost this so that people can see it later. But Jim, maybe you want to go over just the basics here.
Yeah, I had mentioned previously, we were on a 12-month schedule. The project kicked off at the end of November. And so you see, we should be wrapping things up around September, October of 2022. And yeah, everything is here. You can see the various steps, the various meetings, project development team meetings, and then the S's are outreach efforts. And those are you guys, the stakeholder meetings. And so I think we had previously thought we were going to have one of those in January, but here we are in the beginning of February. But we're still going to have all four, and we'll definitely keep you posted as those proceed. This one, obviously, is to introduce you to the project, get you armed to spread the word to your constituencies, primarily through our website and our interactive web-based tool for providing public input. You know, in a setting like this, a lot of folks probably have things to say, but you know, they get called on and they don't really want to talk too much. You know, they're shy. I know I can be, but I'll tell you, once you're on that interactive web-based tool in the privacy of your own home, have at it. You can provide as many comments and concerns or desires as you want on that interactive web-based tool. So the only thing that happened is that it got truncated at the end. There is a task for, and that's basically our documentation. And we'll also be looking at, after the cost estimates are done, which will be done by Mark Thomas and Company, we'll be looking at and examining the possibility of forming a JPA for developing a mechanism for funding these projects. And like I said, to better position SJCOG and the cities in the county to compete and go after those state and federal funds that are out there more than ever before. So that's our schedule. And that can be shared on the website as well.
And then I'll also, as I mentioned, I'll be sending you out the project logo, a link to the website and the project schedule following this meeting today. So you'll be able to keep that updated for your records. And then we'll have probably hopefully like a 3-week lead before our next meeting, which is scheduled to be in April. So we'll send you out a hold the date as soon as we know when that's going to happen. So we can have hopefully the most participation as possible. I think as Jim and Ryan mentioned, we obviously want to have as much engagement as possible that's meaningful and functional. So again, if you've got other people that need to be included in this, we certainly want to know about that. And again, if you have any other contacts for Amazon or others, we would certainly be interested in getting that information. This has my contact information, Jim's and Ryan's, and this information is also available on the project website. So feel free to reach out to us at any time to either share information, documents, or whatever is relevant at that point. And I think that's all we have officially, but we did book this meeting for 2 hours. However, I'm always about giving back time if we need to, but we are also here to learn more if we need to as well. So is there anything else that we need to be going over today or that anyone would like to bring up to make sure we're aware of?
I just want to recognize Betty Wilson made a very good comment in terms of she reiterated safety, but also, striking a balance of the numerous transportation users and uses. That's really the name of the game. It's challenging to do that, but that's what our goal is as part of this study, is to look at all users and try to strike a balance in terms of the identified improvements that we come up with. That's a good comment.
If we want to be added to the email list for notifications for meetings, is Kendall the person we should send a request to?
Yes,
okay,
please.
I wrote down your email address, Kendall, so I'll do that.
Okay. Well, now that we've had you at the meeting, you're stuck with us. So I'll be haunting you for the next 9 months. You won't get away from me easily. Well, Ryan, did you have anything else you wanted to add to wrap us up today?
Nothing really, other than just feel free to reach out anytime, give me a call, shoot me an email. As we've noted, we're still in sort of data collection mode. So whatever comments or ideas you may have for us is only going to benefit the study. So please don't feel afraid to reach out.
And just as a reminder, Crystal Chavez, who's on this as well, Crystal will be maintaining our contact databases for anyone who has additional contacts, whether they are part of the stakeholder meeting or just additional folks you want us to make sure we're notifying. Please send those emails to us as well. And you send this to me, I'll send this over to Crystal. You can work with her directly. I think most of you have her email address as well.
And I'll just add, please get the word out. Tell as many people as you can who you think may be interested in this study and its outcome. And we do check the amount of traffic our website gets and the interactive web-based tool. So hopefully in the next week or 2 or 3, we see some activity. So.
And don't leave us all there by ourselves, but we will know if you go on yourself like 10 times, because I do watch the IP addresses. So, it's better if we can have more people come out there. And I think actually that applies to especially our residents here on the call today, that if you've got other neighbors you can share the information with, we'd be greatly appreciative.
The schedule you were showing us, is that available on the Roth Road Corridor Study website?
It will be as soon as we're off this call, and I'll also be sending it to everyone on this call today, so you'll have it both ways. And my experience has been, I know we're going to be on time. It's going to be great. But if that schedule changes, we will update it and make everyone aware of that as the project evolves.
Okay. And I know that it wasn't fine-tuned to specific dates for things to start. Will we get some kind of notice for like when the next session like this?
So now that we have, everybody, we're kind of at a race off the gates here, but likely we'll notify you about 3 weeks before the proposed meeting, and hopefully we'll have like 1 or 2 options to choose from. We'll do what's called like a doodle poll where you can choose one or the other. With groups that are this large, it's too hard to do too many machinations of that, but it'll probably be more like that. So I would guess that we'll probably send something out in about 2 or 3 weeks, middle of March. So that's 6 weeks, middle of March for our April meeting. And you'll be able to put it on your calendar. They will all, as far as I know, they will all be Zoom meetings. And actually, I kind of anticipate that even if we're in post-COVID where we can be back together again, it's just really efficient for people, you know, to be able to get on the phone rather than travel. So we want to make sure we make it as easy as possible for everyone to participate.
Okay, this has worked well today. Thank you.
I'm glad.
Shall we adjourn?
Yes, I love giving people back time. That just is so unusual, right, Ryan? It's like, Jim, did you have anything else, Jim?
No, I think this has been very good. I appreciate everybody's participation and the time. And yeah, I'm happy we can give some of your time back, and we'll be in touch.
Okay, everybody, we'll have a great rest of your week. Enjoy the Olympics until we see you again, and stay safe.
Thank you.
All right, have a good day.